Hello, Dad.
Hey, Mark.
Today's August the 7th, 2025. Your last video you made, we only talked about two childhood memories. One of them was about you falling in at the siphons and almost drowning.
Right,
And then the other one was the story you had to relate about pulling the man's dead body out of the locks where he had drowned.
right.
Okay. You described the locks. Now, as a family, you lived on a farm type environment.
Right.
What did you,
Only thing, my dad didn't farm at the time. He worked for the Corps of Engineers. He was the lock tender, locked the boats through and logs that needed to be locked through at the time, and also turn the siphons off or on.
okay? As far as your dad and your mom and your brothers and your sisters, can you tell me who they are?
Yes, I had an older brother, Lonnie, and then I had a younger sister, because I was the next in line. I was the second one that was born, and Dorothy was the third, the, or the daughter that was born. And then there was Franklin, another boy, and there was one more, and that was Mary Lou. So it was five of us all in the family, and we pretty well made a pretty good sized family.
Okay, here's my next question. Being on that type of environment, I guess you had one vehicle.
Right.
Do you remember what it was?
Well, it was a Ford truck
Right.
that we had, and I think it was a 41. Or no, not a 41. It was must have been about a 49 or a 50, 51 or something like that. It's the truck that the company gave him for his work uh, that he had to do on the levees and the ditches and things like that. That he was uh, had to keep up in his work also.
So when y'all got ready to leave, that means five kids and seven adults had to get in a truck.
Oh yeah.
How'd that work out?
Well, it always worked out real good because we had ways that we got in and positions we got in because we was in this. The cab is all we had on this Ford truck, and Lonnie would get in first, and I would get in second, and usually uh, Dorothy would be the next one in line as far as age, and the other two would sit on top of us, which was Mary Lou and Franklin,
You mean in your laps?
in her lap, right?
Right.
And we hustled and scuffled, and this one wasn't doing that just right. So we usually had a few words and settled down. And my dad got us to school all right, but it was a chore. It wasn't real easy every day.
Okay.
Sometimes I wouldn't even make that trip because I'd be out running my trot lines. Most of the time, I'd run my trot lines before he left for school because it wasn't. You talk about 5 miles each way, so you're going to have 10 miles that he would be driving. So he had a pretty good drive himself, but if I did pretty good in catching a pretty good sized catfish or some to sell, he was happy about that.
Now, as far as working, you've already described previously what some of the stuff you did, and even you just mentioned the trot line and everything. As far as the household and the home itself, this may seem dumb that I'm asking you this, but this is for everyone to understand and know. This is in the late 30s and through the 40s and the very early 50s when you were at home. Did you have indoor plumbing and did they have electricity in the house when you were growing up?
Well, in the first house where I was born down past the lock and dam there was electricity. Later on in the years, but we started out with kerosene lights or a lamp that you put kerosene in and raise the wick up. And we didn't have no indoor plumbing whatsoever. We just had an outhouse, and hope we had paper out there to take care of ourselves. Normally we didn't. We just had to, whatever we could find, whether it be no newspaper or whatever kind of paper it is.
Well,
We would usually use something like that.
well, as far as your water source, was it a well where you'd lower a bucket down in there, or was there a pump where you would
Well,
pump a handle?
we had a pump there at the first little house,
Right.
the 3 room house, when I was 2 or 3, 4 years old. But the only time we had indoor plumbing was at my dad took the job at Corps of Engineers, and he was able to fix up that house and had indoor water, but we did not have indoor plumbing because we had an outhouse at that particular house, but it was a big house, and it's one that we kind of remodeled. My dad built a bathroom on the back porch. Used half the back porch to put a bathroom back there, and the rest was just a regular porch where you walked off of it and down to the to the back of the house.
Now, my next question is you're born in 1936.
Right.
Um, and you said you were where you were born. Did you mean you were born at the house or were you born in a hospital?
No, I was born at the house, but it wasn't either one of those two houses.
Who delivered you?
We
How did that work?
well, I don't remember too
I
much
mean, I
about it.
know that.
Okay.
But I mean, did they have midwives back then, or did the doctor come in and help grandma, or how did it work?
Most of the time, you had people come from around your neighbor.
Women?
They'd keep up with each other, and they'd come in and help deliver the baby, is what they would do. But most of the time, uh, I don't remember who delivered me. Really, I just never have found out
Right.
who delivered me on the Red Oak Farm.
Do you
That
know
was,
who Mama was?
yeah.
Well, let me ask you this: since you had two other brothers and two sisters, were all those other kids born at the house, or did any of them end up going to the hospital to be born?
No, they were all born at the house.
Gotcha.
As far as I know, Lonnie, I know myself, and Dorothy, and Mila and Franklin, they were all born at the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, we hardly ever went to the doctor. Kerosene was our medicine back then.
When you say medicine, what do you mean?
Well, it was used for scratches and bruises and everything that you can think of. Because at one time we were mussel shell hunting after my dad shut the siphons off, and the water got down low in the river, and it just had ponds, I guess, at the curves in where the river goes, and because the river wasn't straight, it was crooked as a snake,
Right.
But every time the siphons was cut off that way, we would get in a boat, myself and Lonnie, and we would go mussel shell hunting. And the reason I remember something about the coal oil, I don't know whether I've told it about this or not. I don't think I have. But I was I was at the back of the boat and kind of holding it back and scooting along the ground that I was standing on, and water, of course, running a little bit over it. But I hit something with my heel, and I think it was a mussel shell in the sand in the base of the river there, and I cut it open, and all I had was some old boots in the boat, and we knew we had to go somewhere to get kerosene, and we were probably about half a mile or a mile downriver from the house that we had to park the boat and come back up, and Lonnie was with me, and time I got there, it was really bleeding real good, but the only thing that did was get kerosene can and pour kerosene completely all over the heel, and that was the way it. Only thing, only kind of medication was put on it.
Did you wrap it with something at
Oh
all?
yeah, after we cleaned it up, there we wrapped it up. It wasn't in the gauze that you buy or something like that.
Yeah.
It was just the best material. Whatever mama, she had torn off different places to be able to do something like that. But it took it a long time to heal because it's one of the places you had to stand on your toe to keep from hitting that heel, and it just took it a long time to heal. But finally it did, and boy, it was the best thing that happened to me for a long, long time as far as being fixed up, and you just do the best you can with what you got.
Yeah.
That's the only thing you can do.
So you were born at the tail end of the Depression era.
All right,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm gonna ask you one more question since we got a few minutes. You described previously about the man drowning, and then you just talked about getting cut on the foot.
Yeah.
Was there any other really bad accidents that you recall that, I mean, you or your brothers or sisters or mom and dad, bad accidents that you remember that?
Well, there's two or three of them I can mention. They wasn't real bad, but we finally bought a car, and it had those suicide doors that opened like this. It was a '36 Ford car, I think. And we had went into town, was going to Buck's Grocery. That's where we shop, and that's where we have credit up there. Is what we had, and he'd give us credit till my dad was paid every 2 weeks. But anyway, we were going up to Buck's Grocery there in New Edition, just north of town, and one of the back doors came open, and Mary Lou or Franklin fell out of that car. I don't know which one of them it was, because it wasn't going very fast, and some way or another it didn't hurt them very much. Just
Did
kind of
they just hit the ground, or did the car get them?
No, the car didn't hit them. As far as I know, the door flew open and out went the kid.
Yeah. How old were they? Little?
I'd say they was probably 2 or 3 years old or something like that. They was probably playing with that door back there, the handle or whatever.
Yeah.
And it just come open with them, and out they went.
Maybe they were young enough to bounce.
Well, maybe they had no diapers on to keep them hurting themselves. But
Was
that
there
was
any
it.
other accidents? I mean, that's bad enough, but you remember any other accidents, farming or anything that you recall that seems like it may have been now bad?
Well, the only thing was my accident that I had, and I may have already described it by falling in the siphons like I did. But oh yes, I remember one more. Uh, my dad had another stake body truck that belonged to the company that he could drive and use. And as you come into the locks on the road there was another road led down to the bottom of the where the locks come out down there. Instead of going on across where the locks were, where you lock the boats through, where all the electrical, where you open the gates. But there was this stake body truck. Some reason or another, I was going to drive it down from where the lock and dam, and then make a left turn to where the road goes straight down. And I had plenty of room, but I didn't allow enough room to keep my truck on the road leading down the hill right there. And I was, of course, I was in the truck. I was the only one in the truck driving the thing down. Because I was anxious. I don't know what my dad asked me to drive it down there or what. Because he knew I could drive, because I've been driving for a good while. But when I came around that and was going to turn to the left, I didn't have enough leverage to get on around through there. My tires wouldn't turn sharp enough, and I went over that hill right there and down into the cotton patch, and turned that truck over. I think one time it turned it completely over and landed back on its chassis,
So
its
there wasn't
wheels.
seat belts in those,
Wasn't
not then.
no such thing as seat belts, no.
Yeah, no
But
roll bars, nothing.
no, but
Did it mess you up or the truck up pretty bad?
didn't do nothing but scare the snot out of me. I mean, it really did.
And that was back when things were made of real metal and metal parts.
You didn't even know the truck had rolled over, and
Yeah,
I don't recall whether or not the front windshield was broken out. Seemed like it was, but I'm not sure.
yeah.
But that's just some of the things that take place in the country.
Well, we're going to stop, and then next week what we'll talk about is school and maybe junior high age and going into high school. And
Oh, there's plenty to talk about
okay,
on
we'll
that
talk about
ground.
that.
Plenty of
All
it.
right. Well, we'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Okay, take care.